Welcome, Slayers, to another episode of DARKTIMES Debriefed, your behind-the-scenes look at how the ultimate Brawler Royale is being built. DARKTIMES has been in development since 2022 in partnership with Blowfish Studios, a team with deep experience shipping high-quality games. These updates are based directly on internal development logs. They're raw, unfiltered, and designed to give you a clearer view into what's happening each sprint. This episode covers the sprint ending on Thursday the 5th of September, 2025, and includes build versions 18.10 and 18.11. Let's begin with the lead developer. This sprint focused on player throwing, especially how ragdolls behave when picked up. Previously, held players were dancing and flailing in mid-air. The force applied to their joints was too high, making them jitter uncontrollably. That's now been fixed. Also, from the throwee's perspective, being carried was jittery and disorienting. In competitive matches with 6 players, the carried player would stutter violently while the carrier moved normally. That's now under investigation to clean up the experience for both sides. The major win this sprint. The ragdoll dancing fix is in, and once the joint system was inspected closely, the root cause became obvious. But one blocker dragged out time unnecessarily. Matchmaking issues in queue stopped further testing. It's now resolved, but waiting on that fix burned valuable hours. Next, Unity developer updates. The team tackled inconsistencies with weapon highlighting. There appears to be a detection error in the highlight shader, likely caused by overlapping distance and collider logic. The code is returning false negatives on proximity checks, even when the player is in range. That logic is being broken down. They also worked on improving hitbox accuracy, rather than increasing the collision mesh on player models, which could introduce environmental bugs. The team is increasing the collider size on weapons instead. Another key fix: when players are killed while being held and executed, their health bar would linger on screen, and then reappear at their spawn point. That HUD element should despawn. The issue is being traced to re-enabled transforms on death. Moving to the senior developer. The lobby screen had a weird issue. After all players connect, the match would get stuck at waiting for game to start, but the player list wouldn't fully populate. Sometimes 2 of 6, sometimes 5, sometimes none. The team is checking whether those updates are being pulled every frame or just on connect. More importantly, player eliminations were broken again. Previously, the top 3 players weren't progressing from Ice Wall. But now, due to a logic patch, no one progresses, no matter what happens. The team is comparing logs across both teams in real matches and narrowing in on where the failure occurs. The good news? It looks like the death detection check was sending the wrong signal back to the client. That logic has now been fixed. The issue with floating health bars on death also appears here. If a player is killed while being held, their HUD remains on screen and recycles to spawn. We need to verify that the despawn behavior triggers correctly on death. Also, when hunters pick up other players, their throw and carry animations don't play. That leaves their opponent floating beside them. Despite all that, the team made solid headway. Spectating and match progression are syncing better, and matchmaking tweaks are paying off. But a major blocker remains. Competitive matches couldn't be run locally due to endless connection failures. That created a massive bottleneck, especially since no specific error was being logged. The behavior differs between staging and production, which suggests server calls aren't being read or accepted correctly. It's a serious time sink. Back-end developer updates now. First, match reporting. Previously, placement data wasn't being captured properly, so second and third place couldn't be determined cleanly. That info will now be included in the match report. Next, queue sequencing. The team is investigating potential database bottlenecks from sequential round and fixture calls. While it hasn't hit critical load yet, they believe this could be the first major slowdown point, especially on tournament responses, match responses. They've also begun optimizing how matches and tournaments are processed. The goal is to reduce CPU load when large groups of players are matched simultaneously. That includes better data handling on win-loss stats, match duration, and individual player performance. Another back-end focus, cleaning up orphaned servers. Servers that crash, time out, or don't deallocate properly are now being scrubbed to avoid back-end clutter. And finally, Queue orchestration. They're building a highly available master-slave architecture to stop duplicate processing. That means only one server runs critical logic, while standby nodes wait to take over. This avoids issues like double match creation, reward bugs, or state update conflicts. Now for QA. This sprint, the tester hammered every build. A huge number of bugs were tested and verified, including moving village spawns away from execution points, shifting ice wall spawns to avoid zombie overlaps, fixes to weapon highlighting, player hitboxes, and throw animations, back-end call throttling on wallet endpoints, health bar despawns on execution, death fixes to daze state reset exploits, fixes to knockdown while dazed, but several major issues remain unfixed. Player eliminations are still failing in production. Players don't appear on the leaderboard. Throwing the same weapon twice breaks logic. Server errors occur, transitioning from Trial 2 to Trial 3. Team Deathmatch doesn't register total elimination. Winning team in Trial 2 sometimes doesn't progress to Trial 3. Ragdoll throw behavior is still glitchy. A new bug was also discovered. The rewards UI isn't displaying after matches. Testers also noticed that the one-hand carry bug may have returned, possibly from recent commits. It should be addressed in the next build. Multiple bugs were blocked entirely due to a faulty commit. That version stopped players from progressing through a match, so the team reverted to a stable build and will retest those issues next sprint. That's it for this episode of Dark Times Debriefed. To join the conversation, head to discord.gg/darktimes. We'll see you next time, Slayers.